Good morning, good evening, good night to you all. Thank you for coming and seeing one of our videos again. This time we're gonna tackle a very specific topic and also related to COVID and its implications. And it is on how to get or slash obtain what's called a Titre de Séjour or a permit of Titre de Séjour as an international student here in France. This open quotations guide on how to do this procedure is mainly directed to first time students whose first time coming here to study in France at the university level, them being over 18 years of age. What is this ID that I'm talking about? Firstly, as I said before, it's called Titre de Séjour, which roughly translates as uh, permit of staying, if you may call it that. It is a document that is delivered by the French state or the French public services at what's called a prefecture, which its location depends on where you live and or where you study in France. But the main gist of it is that this document represents your legal status as an international student here in France that's studying here legally, and during its validity period, you can use it as a means or a form to go back to your home country or travel out of France or in between European countries or even, like I said before, to your home country. And this ID can help you do all of this movement without the need of having a visa or any other type of specific document. Don't quote me on that, but as a personal experience, the several times I have traveled among European countries and back to my home country, I have not had I have not had to use any other document else than my titre de séjour during its validity period. So don't quote me on that again. The gist of getting this document, mainly now during a COVID period and its, let's say, drawbacks right now, I would say depends on two main difficulties, two main hurdles that you have to overcome, or that you would have to overcome, even if the COVID would have never existed. But since it does, and its consequences are hitting us right now harder than ever, we have to face them. First of all, the main hurdle is the time constraint, which refers to the time period during which you have to solicit a rendezvous to present your case to the French state and solicit the creation of your titre de séjour. And during this period in which you have to plan this rendezvous, comes in place come in place many difficulties. The main one is that, due to the importance of this document, even during non-COVID periods, uh, the French state has a set number or a given number of possible rendezvous starting in January that can be taken by individuals in order to present their case and start the procedure of getting their titre de séjour. Because, like I said, it's a set number, a given number of possible rendezvous, and coupled with the importance of the document, These rendezvous dates or available schedules go as fast as they are, or they are taken as easy as they are posted by the French authorities. So the main aspect of this hurdle, or uh, uh, my main idea is that you have the main idea I want to transmit is that even if you are a first year university student that does not know, but right now you do, that didn't know about this thing, that you make it one of your priorities once you get here to get your. And well, how do you do this, and how do you plan your rendezvous date? Well, first, for example, in the case of our university, or even my university, which is located in Poitiers in the French state or prefecture, as you may call it in French, of Vienne, you go to their official site, the official site of the public procedures. You go here, you go to this tab, and then you solicit this part, which roughly translates to international students or international people in living in the French department of Vienne. You click, and here you go. You have the specific tab for the procedure, and a more general tab that explains the situation even for people that wouldn't be international students, but who's first time soliciting this type of document. We'll take this the specific tab for international students because that's what we're talking about here. And ever since COVID began, this procedure has been entirely switched to internet and phone means, because well, logically it's a more safe approach than doing it personally. So first of all, uh, you may not understand everything that's explained here, but if you translate it to English or whatever other language you may understand, it's very detailed, and it explains your situation and whatever question you may have about the basis of the procedure. It explains it very thoroughly and very systematically. The link I just clicked goes to the procedure, the start of the procedure, and how you can apply for starting your solicitation. Here, it translates to I want to solicit, or I want to make a new titre de séjour. Here you can create your account and give your information, and I can give much more pointers about this specific site, because last time I did it, it was by paper means. So well, uh, I cannot, in good peace of mind, say anything about this, because, well, I don't know how it rolls, how it's done. So, but you can quote me on this. The French way of creating these types of sites, and for this specific type of procedures and public solicitations, is very very user friendly. So you should be able to complete this without having the need of any other person have to guide you through it normally. The second part of, or the second hurdle of having to solicit this document, or the process of soliciting this document, is logically the list of or the many documents that you have to provide during your rendezvous as a part of your dossier to justify your demands, and for the people at the prefecture to consider whether you can receive your titre de séjour or not. They are the French are very adamant in this, and in the more general tab that we clicked before, it is explained in bold letters that your dossier will not be analyzed if you do not have all the documents that are solicited by the people, by the procedure. And so it is very important that you complete your dossier before you go into the rendezvous. It cannot be done without you having the entirety of the documents that they solicit. Now, I know this poses a problem, for a very glaring problem, specifically for us international students, because there may differences may exist between the types of documents that French people can access to, or that they are given access to by the French government, and the types of documents that your own government or your own government agencies can give you in place of that of the ones they solicit among this list of documents for the French people. Here you can go and see the list of documents that you have to give during the rendezvous, and this is a link for the let's say the general description of the dossier that you have to complete in order to present yourself at the rendezvous. They ask for basic information: your name, your surname, your family name, your birthday, where you live here in France, if you have any parents, when did you came into France, if you have a visa, where was your visa given, if it's valid. They ask for more personal information regarding your family and what they do and what their nationality is. But since I consider it trivial information and not of not that much importance, so I guess it shouldn't be that that glaring or that shocking for all of us. The thing here is that ever since COVID, like I said before, ever since COVID started, all of this has been turned into a virtual means, or has been uh, passed on to virtual means, because before you had, for example, you had to fill this kind of document by hand, and you had to present these documents by hand and go and fill all of these documents they give you by hand and present them by hand at your rendezvous. Now it's more it's done on virtual means, so it should be easier to complete, I suppose. Among the list of documents that you have to give, this is the only aspect of this procedure that I really find somewhat difficult, because here they give you, as you can see, a list of every possible situation that you could be in as a person that is trying to solicit the titre de séjour ID. Even if you're not a student, you want to seek political asylum, if you want to work here, if you're a transfer for a company, this and that. It's very vast. It's a very vast list of possible situations that you could be found in. So well, you have to look for the list of specific for international students, which in this case I believe it's uh the students. I do believe it's this one. And so this is the type of document they solicit you. Ever since COVID started, the list of documents may have changed from before. Ever since, for example, I made the procedure, but for example, when I had to go undergo this this situation, I had to present a very vast list of documents, among whom were, for example, my birthday certificate for my home country, a general information such as a copy of your passport, your visa, where you live here in France, where if you have and if you're actually part of an of a university, of a scholarship program, and those kinds of documents. And I want to mention this. I forgot about it before, but I should mention it right now. If you have any type of trouble during this procedure, or even if you couldn't care less about everything that I said before and what I'm going to say after this parentheses, at least follow my instructions in this one. Go contact your university's international student exchange program bureau and ask them for help on how to get, or how you could get all of these documents, for example, on what kind of documents you need, on, or even what kind of information that you have to give during this, for example, this procedure, or what kind of person you have to contact for this or that. Please go contact your university's international student exchange program bureau, because from personal experiences among many of us from the team here, we can ascertain that these people at our university have single-handedly carried our procedures, or have helped us achieve our procedures or demands for titres de séjour, because they are able to understand. There are people whose entire job is to understand these kinds of procedures and explain it to you in the easiest way possible and guide you through it. So please pause this right now and go contact any person that may have this position, or that may work on this type of job at your university, and ask them to help you. If you have any kind of doubt, ask, because as of COVID period, you may feel you are alone and that you have nobody to talk to about these kinds of problems. That is one of the main problems or glaring difficulties about doing these types of procedures right now during COVID period. You feel you are alone, and that you have nobody to turn to and ask for help. Even more as a an international student, please do not believe that. Go and contact somebody at your university whose job is to help you through these kinds of procedures. I ask you, please do that. You are not alone. You have you have a network of people at your university, even if you haven't talked to them at all. There is a network of people that whose entire job is to help you through these kinds of procedures. Believe me, go. And even more right now, again, during COVID times. You are not alone. You have people that can help you. Please go and contact them. I'll give you 5 seconds to do that. Pause the video. See? 4, 5. Okay, we're back. So, now that you've hopefully contacted your university or the people at your university that can help you or guide you through this better than we ever could, I'm gonna continue with my rambling. So, among the list of documents, as I said before, are specific documents, but well, generally available documents. Like I said, a copy of your passport ID, your visa, your admission letter at the university. You could even present your grades or whatever, but there are more specific documents that you should present, and whose it's kind of difficult to obtain, such as your parents' bank info, which is a very, very, very personal, I believe, information that when I was asked for the first time, I believed it was an intrusion on my parents' information or personal information. But I would advise you to get used to it, because as international students, you have to prove that you have the means to stay here and that you have the means to maintain yourself as a student without the French government having to worry about, well, you using the resources. It's pure logic, if you know what I mean. So they have those kinds of more personal information that they solicit, your birth certificate and things like that. And again, if you have any questions about the list of documents that you could substitute or that you have to give for all of this, contact your university and ask them for help on determining this. Um, Again, these were the main two difficulties that you should be able to, you should face for this procedure. And again, as of right now, during backlash of COVID period, it should be easier to go through all of this, because of the fact that again every all of this was passed on to virtual means. So well, it's faster to contact the people that you may need help from, or that you have to contact to do this. And I would like to give one last pointer, and that is that you have to pay a certain amount at the end of this procedure for your ID to be given. And this pay comes in the form of postal cards, or postal, I think it's called a postal stamps. Yeah, that which are a form of which in you use to mail your dossier, which the prefecture uses to mail your dossier to, I guess, their HQ in Paris. I don't know. And this postal card is you have to buy it at a, a cigarette or tobacco shop. You can buy it at post offices. You can buy it almost everywhere. And but it's quite expensive. It's 80 euros, and it depends if you solicit this ID for only 1 year or more than 1 year. The price of the postal stamp depends on that the period your ID will be given or valid for, and the basis is, I think, €80 per 1 year of validity. So you should also be prepared to pay that amount, which is not that high, but still important in order for you to receive your ID. In the end, and now during COVID, you should, if all goes well and your procedure goes well and your rendezvous goes well, you should expect to receive your ID in no more than 3 weeks since ever after your rendezvous, if everything has gone well and your procedure was accepted. And if your procedure is accepted, you will be given a permit or a kind of permit, a slip by the prefecture during your rendezvous, in which you are awaiting for your ID to be given, and if you want to, or if you have to, because in this situation, COVID backlash, you can't travel that easily. If you have to move for personal or work reasons, you can present that as your ID until your official's ID, your official Titre de Séjour's arrival, uh, which is like a bank card, the size of a bank card, like an ID card. So it's like that. And that concludes all I wanted to say about this procedure. Uh, I hope it's of any use for even one person, and that's all we ask for during these trying times. So, thank you again for coming and checking the video. Please leave suggestions on topics that you would like us to go over in the comments box. And well, thank you again for listening. And I hope you will come back for more issues of ours. And good luck. Good luck. You will need it. We all need it. And uh, go and take 2021 for the best. Bye.